Okay, let's just get right to it. Questions. How you guys doing? I want to know how everyone's doing. Send it in the questions box. Say you guys are good. Your trading week's good. I just wanna make sure you guys are doing all right. And then if you guys have had questions all week, or if you just got some questions, start putting them in the questions box because I wanna touch on them, of course. And I'm gonna launch the first poll. There's no right answer. I just wanna get an idea of how you guys are trading. So it helps me with the webinars to proceed with teaching the way that I trade. Um, I just want to see how you guys are. So I got mostly higher time frames. Good. I like it. I'm just gonna wait for more people to roll in here. I'm gonna leave the poll up a little bit longer. See if we can get more. See if more people are gonna start joining. Sorry, I'm not talking so much. I'm just seeing what your guys' questions are. Post it on Instagram. See if more people are coming in. More people are rolling through. I just want to see how this poll is gonna go. This is a nice poll. Thanks, buddy. I really appreciate it. I like the polls with GoToWebinar just because it just helps me get a better understanding for how I teach. I'm basically like a free teacher right now. So okay, I got a really good question. Can you tell us something quick about you for the ones that don't really know me, like how I got started? Yeah, so I started trading Forex a little less than 2 years ago. Actually, for those who don't know my story, I got into a really bad motorcycle accident. I was on my way to work. It was 2015. A semi truck pulled in front of my motorcycle. I ended up falling, of course. I freaking go head on with the semi truck. I broke 3 vertebrae in my spine, and actually, I had became temporarily paralyzed. So I was in the hospital a while. Everyone's telling me you're never gonna walk, Kyle. You're never gonna walk. My life completely changed, and I was paralyzed. Well, I believed in myself. I believed that I can walk again. Um, so many months down the road, I regained some strength in my legs, and I began to walk again. So I believed in myself, and I did it. The problem is I couldn't work the same way. I couldn't. I was a car salesman, so I couldn't perform the same job. I couldn't run all the time. However, the interesting part is in my wheelchair. My wheelchair is a very good selling tool. So anybody that came on the lot, they for the few cars that I sold when I was there, everyone bought. So they, how do you not trust a guy in a wheelchair, right? Like, what's he gonna do? Run off with your money? No, you can't even run, right? So I went back to work for a few months. After a few months, I just couldn't handle the stress anymore. It was so much mental stress on my mind that it was affecting my legs even more. And I was on Facebook, and I was literally, my story is I was literally praying for a sign. And then I found a Forex thing. I prayed some more, and I got confirmation through, I had called up my grandma and asked my grandma. I was like, Grandma, hey, so I'm thinking about doing this Forex thing. She's like, well, what is it? And I told her what it was. And she said, I'm all in. Go for it, Kyle. That was the first time my grandma has ever agreed with me for any business thing. So that was a real big sign for me. And then I joined a bad mentorship. The guy really was not a great trader. His strategy was legitimately just a person's strategy, right? Basically, this is what you do, this is how you do it, and that was it. His mentorship program, like, you got like 5 video modules, that was it. Nothing on price action. nothing really touching on the times to trade. Nothing. There was nothing. There was absolutely zero confidence in that. Um, so for 8 months, I practiced a really bad strategy, and all I did was kept losing. But I didn't. I believed in myself, and then I joined a second mentorship. I joined through the Forex family, and it changed my life. I didn't actually have like that aha mentorship thing that everybody strives for. Like I never really had like the best relationship with the mentors. Never really did. Like I never really had one-on-ones with any of the mentors. Actually, I had a very bad experience with one of the mentors. I flew out to Toronto and had a really bad experience with them. And then I ended up leaving the Forex family. And then I just started grinding with all the knowledge that I learned. And then just within a few months, I kind of went from zero to hero. And then I said, well, I want to be that mentor for those who don't really have a good mentor. So I started my own private mentorship, and that's where I am. So I'm just a couple years in to trading. But if it wasn't for my motorcycle accident, if it wasn't for the idea of lost hope that I can't walk again or that I'm not going to be able to perform the same job, I wouldn't have found Forex. So I was very thankful as I was in my wheelchair. I was legitimately just praying, and I was like, what am I going to do with my life? So it was for an exchange. I had never thought that I would do that. So it's opened the doors, and I've met the most incredible people. I got students from a lot of different countries. So I've developed kind of a trading plan for everyone, depending on which country they're in. But that's a little bit of my story, guys. Let me see. You guys got a lot of extra. Is this the erector spine? No, not the weenie, dude. I think that's what you're talking about. I don't even know. These are big words. I'm getting funny questions in here. Hello, bud. Is it possible to help with risk manage it? How to set up and how to measure pips? Sorry to sound basic. Absolutely. We'll cover that. Was he a scam? Yeah, he was a scam trader. His name's Nehemiah Douglas. The guy is absolutely garbage. So he's absolutely garbage. Well, keep it up, man. Wish you all the best. Thanks, brother. Thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna close this specific poll. I'm gonna open up one more poll. Just to give me another little idea. I'm only gonna have this poll up for about a minute or two. I just want to kind of get your guys' ideas if you guys are trading around certain times. I want to know if you guys understand how to apply specific times. Yeah, Nemo. So it's so funny, man. There's two really, really bad mentors out there, and it's Nemo and Nino. So if you guys know anything about Nino, Nino was the guy who like basically scammed Uncle Ted, right? And then Uncle Ted basically like wanted to start mentorship, I guess, because of that. He was like, you know what? I really want to help people. So what Uncle Ted does is like no other. I strive to be a lot like Uncle Ted. So he's a phenomenal mentor and a phenomenal human being. I met him in Toronto, and he was a really really cool guy. So, but yeah, Nemo and Nino, yeah, confused Pippin with Pippin. Exactly, exactly. Like I don't know if you guys are following people that all they do is post like money pictures and card pictures. Like that's not really that cool. Like show us your entries, like show us your analysis, because that actually helps traders. There's a lot of traders out there that cannot afford mentorship. They just can't afford it. Maybe they're in Africa, maybe they're in Asia, and they just can't really afford mentorship. So they legitimately strive off of us providing things as like a Instagram picture or a YouTube video, right? Like you guys know I post my stuff on YouTube. So if there's anything that you guys can do, if you guys are starting to get the hang of trading, start using Instagram as a trading journal and, post up what you guys are doing, man. It really helps. It really helps people in the community. Okay, so I got a lot of yeses. Good. I got some no's, and I got like, what is a market session? So that's good. These questions are helping me understand where your guys' understanding is in the foreign exchange market. So I'm gonna very simply today, guys. I'm gonna actually, if you guys don't really have like a good trading plan, um, I'm basically gonna tell you what to look for in order to start basing a trading plan around what you guys see, right? Because my trading plan might not be exactly what like you guys need, but if I'm gonna really focus on these higher time frames for you today, and I'm gonna kind of show you around the sessions depending on which pairs you guys like trading, and then I'm gonna show you guys how and what you're gonna look for in order to enter the market, trading safely based off of momentum trading, right? I trade off momentum. If I don't have clear momentum, I don't trade. It's just as simple as that. I'd rather wait for a few hours and then wait till I have momentum and then really get in. But those who are like hyper scalping, I'll also hyper scalp. But I know a lot of people that just will scalp throughout intraday trading, and they can basically just get into the market at any time, and that's really cool. There's so many different ways to trade. So I don't have like, I'm not like, oh, I'm the best trader in the world. No, I just trade off momentum. It's just very easy. I just don't like to stress about which direction the trend is going. I'd rather have specific confirm at specific times of the day, which are telling us which direction we're going, right? All right. So moving forward, I'm going to close this poll and I'm going to go straight to sharing my screen now. All right. Let me go ahead. I'm going to close down the questions board for a second. And let me make sure that my screen is actually sharing. Can you guys see my screen? Can somebody just put like a wave or a... Okay, perfect. Thanks. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. All right, let me see. I got one more question. Let me see what this... Let me close this down. It's not letting me open the questions. Let me open it one more time. Questions. I want to get some more questions out there. Do you think that there's any pairs that are more suitable for beginners? Absolutely. I'll go over that today. Can see the screen. Thank you. Okay, I'm glad. What are the best indicators of momentum? I'm gonna go over that. 100%. I'm gonna go over all these questions for you guys. Okay. Um, I like your question about which pairs are more suitable for beginners. I'm gonna really touch on that right now. Okay. So the first thing I want to understand is I want you guys to understand is the times of the day to trade. Oh wow, that was a big move today. That was since London actually. That was huge. I haven't even looked at the charts. Like I haven't even looked at the charts all day. I've just been doing crypto stuff, and then I had other stuff to do, so I haven't even looked at all. So it's 2 o'clock, which means that we've got a new 4-hour candle that's opening. So if we're gonna follow momentum, we're just gonna probably keep going down. Yep, we've already broken support. We're gonna go down to the low side. Anyways, moving forward, I want to show you guys if you guys are just starting out, if you're just starting out trading, a big thing that would be great for you guys to focus on, in my opinion, is going to be USD JAPY. Depending on which part of the world you guys live, and I'm going to show you the reasons why. You've got US dollar and the Japanese yen. The US dollar opens when the New York stock, sorry, my typing always gets weird. Stock exchange opens, right? That's going to be at 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or right 8 a.m. Eastern. Okay, so what this means is you've got the U.S. dollar in this pair, right? This is a pair. You've got the U.S. dollar that is going to be most active, of course, when the market session of that currency is open, right? So if we're trading like pairs that are not, like if we're trading Euro Jappy for an example, Euro Jappy will move a lot in the morning because it's going to be the end of London session. However, it's going to have a little bit more of a die down because the euro is not going to be moving, right? So the US dollar is moving in the New York session. And then, of course, we have the Japanese yen, right? The Japanese yen opens during the Asian session. So and that opens in the afternoon. So right around when the 2 p.m. candle, like right now, the new 4 o'clock candle, 4-hour candle just opened. So this is usually a good time to start trading if you haven't traded. So what we're gonna pay attention to and understand is if we're trading USD JAPY, we have all day. We've got the US dollar all morning, and then we've got the Japanese yen all afternoon, and then the very end, going towards London session. London session is at 12 a.m., right? However, it's going to end at 11. It's going to end at 11 p.m. Asian session. So what you're going to see is a last volatility push because they want to get that last push in, right? When getting ready for the open of the London session. So you can trade at all sessions with USD Jappy, all the main sessions. You've got New York session, Asian session, and you've got right around London Open session to be able to trade this pair. So USD Jappy is going to have less fake outs, and it's going to have tons of very quick or not quick, but it's going to have tons of very easy market structure. So it's going to move very nicely with less fake outs, and it also has a negative correlation with gold, aka XAU USD, which means if UJ is up, gold is down, right? So if we're looking at USD Jappy right now, if we go to gold, gold's going to be going up. See how we're going up? So being able to, oh my gosh, this is from this new 4-hour candle, but you can see they have a negative correlation. So when we're trading USD Jappy, we can look at gold for confirmation, and we can look at USD Jappy for confirmation for gold. So this is the main pair that most consistent traders trade is USD Jappy. So I primarily only trade USD Jappy, but I can trade any pair that I want. It doesn't really matter. So let me go look at the questions to see if you guys have questions. Okay, tons of questions. What is the best indicator for momentum? Okay, let me write this down because I'm gonna forget. That's a very good question. What is the best indicator for momentum? That's a really good question. What are some other ones? We've got, what do you recommend extremely volatile pairs such as, I don't like to trade volatile pairs personally. I don't like to trade pairs that are going to mess me up. I just don't care. There's so many pairs to trade that you can be successful off of any pair. You only need one, honestly. Do not use, I use MetaTrader 4. I just look at the charts on USD on TradingView because the charts are going to give me the clearest signal. Because they're partners with Forex.com, and I don't select another brokerage, and then of course like Forex CM and all these other like really regulated brokerages. So that's why I look at TradingView to get my signals, and then I look at my MetaTrader 4 to take my entries. I can see a head and shoulders pattern. What are the fundamentals that can affect the pairs? News, yes, news, of course. Inverse correlation, yes. Yep, a lot of stuff. I thought Asian Open at 4 p.m. You might be thinking of like the Nikkei market open, but I mean with the time zone change, it even could probably. I mean that's like my bad for not having all the knowledge out there. I still trade based off a certain time, so when the new 2 o'clock candle 4 o'clock candle opens at 2 p.m., that's really my idea of when we're gonna start having a nice little push. How many trades do you take per day? Usually one. And how do you find a setup to take on UJ every day to reach your daily goal? So what I'm looking for, I'm just going to get right to the chase for you guys. I am not trading unless I have clear momentum. Okay? The way that I'm going to base my trades is going to be off of these higher time frames, right? So if I'm like my favorite time to trade is the first thing in the morning, right at 6 a.m. Usually right at 6 a.m. there's going to be a good push, okay? So what that looks like is the New York market opens at 5 a.m. This is Pacific Standard Time. This is my time in California, right? But I usually will not trade until 6 a.m. The reason why is the 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. 4-hour candle is still in progress. So the New York session market is going to open in the last hour of the 4-hour candle. So I really want to see how that 4-hour candle closes to give me an idea of how the momentum is and where we're going to enter, right? So I like to wait for the candle to close. But I get up at 5:30, so that's the time that I get up. So sometimes there's a pre-push, and I'll trade a pre-push, and I'll be done for the day. And I'll get in between 5:30 to 6 and usually be done. But my profits are coming within the two 15-minute candles, and that's how I'm looking to trade every single day, in and out. But if I'm gonna go for like a scalp to swing, I may wait for more momentum and a better understanding. So this is what I'm looking for, right? The first thing I'm looking for is zones, right? You got to have your zones drawn up. You got to understand where price is going if it breaks a structure, and where the next destination is. Because if we break a structure, like now, you can see how we've broken support. Well, the new daily candle just opened, right? Let's look at the new daily candle. It You can't see it really because of this little thing down here, but it just opened. I don't know why all these little guys are over here, but the new candle literally just opened, right? We've already broken through our support. Look at this really nice support. We've just blown through it, right? The new candle just opened. So where do you think we're going? We're just going to be following the momentum, right? Well, where's the next destination? Wow, our next destination is not for quite a ways. So the first thing that you want to pay attention to is the time of day to trade. Your trading plans need to be based around specific market sessions and those higher time frames. Because if we're going to break a structure, you need to understand where the next destination is for either profit target range, where to pull, risk management, etc. Right? So the daily candle is not going to be as effective until the next daily candle opens. So like right now, the new daily candle just opened. So it's going to be more effective around that time, right? The 4-hour candle, of course, you get an idea to see where we closed, where we left off, to get an idea of how to enter, where your stop loss is, etc. So what I'm looking for, everything that I'm looking for when I wake up, is the first thing is I want to look at the 4-hour candle. That's the first thing I go to. I want to see where we left off. That's the first thing I want to see. I want to see where we left off, and I want to see if there's direction and momentum, right? That's the very first thing that I'm looking for, 100%, is I'm looking to see how the last 4-hour candle has closed. So an example is going to be around specific time frames, right? Like you can see here's right for the same time, like right now, 1400. This is the same. That's 2 o'clock a couple days ago, right? The first thing that happened is you can see momentum wick fill, right? So as soon as the new candle opens, we've got a wick fill, right? This is the time that I like to trade first thing in the morning, right? As soon as you wake up in the morning, you see, okay, well, look at where the momentum is. Well, why are we? There's no buying power. It's all selling power. So where are we going? We're going down, right? So where's the next zone? It's down here. You can obviously see that we dropped that in 4 hours, okay? The same thing moving forward, right? If we're going to trade around a different time, here's another nice support system, right? Here's a nice support. We broke through support. This was post Nikki. This was after Nikki open. So if we're going to follow through until the London Open, you can see we're just going to follow the momentum, right? This is based off the 4-hour time frame. So if you have confirm that the higher time frame is going up or down, either bullish or bearish, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look at the lowest time frame I would recommend you guys looking at is going to be the 15-minute time frame, because that 15-minute time frame is going to give you an idea for stop loss, right? So here's a great example. A great example is the new candle was opening here, right? Right at 2 o'clock. So if I'm going to take sells right around understanding that the new candle was opening at 4 o'clock and we're probably going to push down, like my profit target is usually 10 pips, right? What I want to understand is where my next stop loss is going to be. Because if we're pushing down and we've already broken support, right? So we're going to be pushing down to the low side. I want to be looking at the recent resistance if we're bearish. Because my stop losses, I want my stop losses to be around the highest kind of wick area, right? And then keep in mind that we have spread. So keep in mind the distance. Let me open this a little bit more. Hopefully that kind of helps a little bit. So I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the most recent resistance, because this is where I'm going to gauge my profit target, right? And as you can see, we are sitting like directly in a zone. Other things to pay attention to will be currency meter. The currency meter is really important because if you're trading around the beginning of like a 1 hour candle, a 4 hour candle, etc., if you are trading right first thing in the morning and we have bearish momentum, for an example, or let me go to the 4 hour again, and I'm gonna take this example again, just because this was a really nice setup that everybody took. This ended up being a daily wick fill, but this was a really good setup because if I'm looking at this for an example and I see, okay, I have a potential wick fill for momentum, if I'm going to the currency meter and the currency meter is Japanese really strong and the US dollar is really weak, well, where do you think we're going? Just be logical, right? If you're gonna momentum trade, just be logical. So if we're gonna be following in the momentum, the currency meter is telling us that the US dollar is weak and the Japanese yen is strong. Well, we're going to be pushing in the direction of the Japanese yen, which is going to be bearish because the Japanese yen follows after the US dollar, right? So we're going to be pushing in the direction of that currency. So that's exactly what happened. So for an example right now, if we're looking at the currency meter, we can see that the US dollar is not really holding that much strength, right? It's really weak. The Japanese yen is significantly stronger, right? So look what's happening. If we're following the momentum of the 4 hour time frame, look at what happened today. This is a prime example right now, right? Literally right now. This is how I'm going to be trading, guys. If I was trading right now, I would have already taken my sells. We've already broken support. If we're just looking here, right? Just looking at this for an example. We've already broken the support. Look how strong that broke support. We're sitting in a zone, yes. But if we're going to be breaking this structure, the next zones are going to be pretty far away, right? We can look left and we can see this whole wick range area. So this can be a good profit target area to just shoot for. Like if we just drop down significantly up to 10 pips, I'm looking to already close and put stop loss in profit. Or I'm looking to look at my 15-minute time frame and I'm looking to say, well, my stop loss I want to have like kind of like up here, right? I want to have my stop loss placed accordingly. But the profit targets usually come pretty quickly. So if you're trading in the beginning of a 4 hour time frame, this is legit the way that I trade, right? So if we already went down like this amount of pips, we're probably going to be continuously pushing in that direction. But I'm looking to close very quickly. I'm not looking to hold these positions too long unless I'm scalping to swing, right? Like if we already caught 6 pips per position and I put 10 entries on, I'm fine with closing that for the day. I'm fine with that, depending on the direction and the momentum. Or just leaving the stop loss and your take profit and just walk away from the computer, right? You don't need to be sitting here all day. And like if we start going bullish a little bit, well, it could just be gaining liquidity, then it could be going down. But we are sitting directly on a zone. So that's never really like a 100% good sign. But there is a lot of good things telling us that we might be pushing down to the low side, right? But when I'm trading, I'm looking for a break of structure on the 4 hour time frame in momentum. This is why I'm trading everything based around the beginning and the end of a 4 hour candle. I'm usually waiting for a 4 hour candle to close, or if I'm trading in the morning, I'm looking at the 1 hour time frame because the 1 hour time frame is going to have clear direction. So if we look at like the 1 hour time frame, we've got 4 1 hour candles in one 4 hour candle, right? So if we're looking at like direction, for example, like you can see that this 1 hour we hit the resistance and we close super bearish, right? So if we're going to be closing super bearish, what direction do you think that we're going to be going? Well, we're probably going to be going bearish. So the same exact idea, understanding where that recent resistance was. So if we look at the 15-minute time frame here, right? If we're already sell confirmed that we're probably going down and we're trading around specific times of the day, we can get an idea and we can already see, well, what has price done? We've already hit this major bullish spike, right? Now we end up having what's called a 2-1 confirm. Well, that's what I call it. You guys call it whatever you want. But this is what I'm calling a 2-1 confirm. This is trend change, right? We've already hit like a major resistance. Now, we've had this major bullish push. Now we have a small pull. Now we have the pullback. And then look at how we have this major rejection, right? There's a lot of things to pay attention to, like EMA distance. The 14 EMA will act like a magnet, so I have a bit of a distance away from it. However, price is now making lower lows and lower highs, right? We have a lower low, lower high. This is the pre-London push. If you're trading London open, start trading London 1 hour before, because you're going to probably have a pre-push, right? Now we've got another lower low, right? And then we've got another lower high. So if we're taking entries off that 1 hour time frame, let's go back to the 1 hour. Are we having a bullish push? What's going on? I don't know where price is at, but if we're seeing that we can see this major rejection, we can see that we have a lot of selling power now, right? We had this major bullish push. Now we have a lot of selling power, so we have confirmed sell direction. So look at that 15-minute time frame and say, okay, where do you think our stop loss is going to be? If we're trading around the hour, right, around this area, our stop loss, we want to be looking at our stop loss probably around this recent high, right? Maybe above the wick, just because you want to factor in spread. So this is where we are going to be paying attention to where our stop losses are, and we're going to be trusting the process, right? You really want to trust the process. If price is making lower lows and lower highs, we had 2-1 confirm, right? This is 1-2-1, 2-2. This is 2-2 confirm, we're going down, right? And if you weren't happy and comfortable by then, this was 15 minutes after the open of the London session. And what do we have? We had a break of structure. The 1 hour was already telling us that we're going down, and we broke the support, so just follow the momentum, right? And look at how quickly your profits can come in and out. 32 pips in one 15-minute candle. You're done for the day. Leave stop loss and profit. Do whatever you want, right? So this is why we trade around the 4 hour, but also paying attention to the 1 hours in between, because the 1 hour candles in between are going to confirm momentum, right? So what do we have here? The 1 hour broke structure, right? We can see this nice support, right? I'm looking here though. This is what I'm really paying attention to, is this kind of area, but then also being aware of all of this. But we broke below structure and we have a wick to fill. So what did the next hour do? The exact same thing, following into momentum. But then you do the same thing, right? Either you enter immediately or you look at that 15-minute time frame and say, well, where's the recent high? If we're entering off like the hour, we can say, well, I mean, this is already pretty clear momentum that we're going down. So stop loss up here might be a little too high. Maybe move it a little lower, whatever. But you want to be looking above that recent high, right? So maybe even a good stop loss is going to be here. We're going to look at this area for this resistance, looking left, and say this is a good position for a stop loss, right? So even if we enter off of that 1 hour time frame, we got around, let's just say 10 pip stop loss, but look at the take profit, right? Risk to reward. That was touching on one of the things that you guys were saying. But you can't just say that if I'm going to have a 10 pip stop loss, I'm going to have a 30 pip take profit, because you have to have the zones drawn up to understand. Let me go back to the 1 hour. You got to have your zones drawn up to say, well, if we're really going down, you got to see where the next destination is. Because if we've broken this structure and we look left, we can see that we have all this open field, right? So the next real position that we're going down to is going to be around here. But I'm looking left and I'm seeing that price touches this area tons of times, right? We touched it here, we bounced up. We touched it here again, right? We touch it here for liquidity, we go up again, right? And then what does it do? We break structure. So if we're going down, this is where your profit target areas become, right? So you can just plan out your scalp to swing, and you can plan out how many pips you're going to be looking for in that scalp process, right? I'm going to go to the questions board, see if you guys, what you guys are posting, and I want to make sure you guys are following along. Whoops. Give me 1 second. Man, I hate it when it does this. Give me 1 second. All right, let me look. How did the UJ news affect USD Jappy? Is that the news for today? I'll have to go look at news and I'll have to see what it was. I didn't trade today at all. I noticed the 3 black crows. What's that? I noticed the 3 black crows. What is that? Is this a riddle? How about target is to daily wick fill? That's a potential too, right? The new daily just opened. We got neckline. I want you guys to go ahead, send me a question if you guys are following along. I want to make sure you guys are following along, first of all, or just raise your hand. Just put a hand raise. I want to make sure you guys are following along. I want to make sure that the poll, the poll that I put out in the beginning of this webinar was to help me understand what you guys are focusing on. And I want you guys, if you don't really understand what you're looking for, to focus on the higher time frames, right? Oh, three black crows, three red candles form below each other. Oh, okay, so it's like the fractal or whatever. Yeah, there's so many different names for everything in Forex. I just keep it really simple. Um, I don't really like care about the technical fundamental whatever analysis, like all the big terminologies. The only thing I focus on is support and resistance and momentum. That's it. Like if I see a break of structure and there's momentum, I get into a trade. That's all I focus on. I don't like to confuse myself, so I like to just wait. So if I don't have confirm right at 6 a.m., I may wait till 7 a.m. and look at the 1 hour time frame to see if I have direction. If I don't have direction all morning from like 6 till 10, by the time the new 4 o'clock candle opened at 10, then I'm gonna have direction. And then I'm looking to just take pretty much one trade a day, right? Similar to three white soldier candlesticks patterns. I don't personally, but I don't even know anything about these candlestick patterns. I don't study candlestick patterns. I don't study anything. The only thing I care about is wick to fill. I care about momentum. That's it. I don't like to confuse myself. That's just me personally. Would you consider the market structure the first higher high you put, then the lower low? I would put as the new higher low until I see a lower high formed. That's a great question, Alex. So going back to the 15-minute time frame, this is a higher low. You're 100% right. This is a higher low. However, if you had not already taken buys, like it would be really foolish to just get directly in for buys after a huge push. So you would want to wait for confirm, right? And then we know that we're on sell resistance. So this actually is a higher low. However, when you wait for the candle to close, right, you can see how this candle closes. We have another rejection. This candle closed lower than this recent high. And even if we look at the 5-minute time frame, the 5-minute made two lower highs. So if we look at the 5-minute, for an example, right? Oh, never mind. No, it didn't. I was thinking of another time. But off the 15-minute, we have the 15-minute time frame. We have this is a higher low. You're 100% right, Alex. But when it's 2-1 confirm for trend change, we can see, okay, we have this whole wick that came up for rejection, and you see it made like a hammer. When it like has no wick like this and also has a lower high, usually what it's going to want to do is push in the direction of this, right? We have just rejection and we have, okay, we want to go down. And then you see we make a lower high, so it's 2-1. And then we broke structure. So then even taking sell opportunities here is not a bad idea for the pre-push, right? Already 10 pips in one 15-minute candle. That's what I'm looking for. I'll be done for the day doing that. Or stop loss and profit, however you guys want to trade. But I don't want you to think that I don't see this as a higher low, because it is. But you want to just pay attention to the real momentum and the direction off those higher time frames. So that 1 hour time frame made a major bullish push, right? We have this huge bullish push. We hit resistance. So now it's like, okay, well, let's see where price is going to go after that. If you just would wait a little bit and you have a little bit more, patience, you end up having pure confirm kind of just like 1 hour later, right? This becomes like 1 hour-ish, right? And then another lower high. So this becomes 2-2, trend change direction. We're going bearish, right? 1, 1, 2, 1. That's 2-1, 1, 2. That becomes 2-2 confirm. We're going bearish. And then, of course, what does it do? It comes down again, makes another lower low. We broke support, right? This is our support system that we broke. We broke this whole structure, right? And then, so what does price do? Price comes back up, touches the same zone again to make another lower high, and then it continues in direction. We broke support again, right? Make another lower low, come back up to the area again, and what does it do? It makes another lower high just to continue in the direction of the trend, right? Price is in momentum at this time. So for those of you who are in like Europe and you trade the Asian session, this was a pretty good opportunity for you guys to make some cheese. Most of us are sleeping at that time. Most of us trade just the pre-push of London. We usually just get in for the pre-push or the push and we're done. Stop loss and profits, go to sleep. Do whatever you got to do. Let me look at these next questions. You wait for logical confirms, right? Yes, I have to have logical confirms. If I don't have confirms, I don't get in. I don't like the risk. So what I would rather do is I would rather have pure confirm that we're going either bullish or bearish, and I'd rather stack up heavily and put high margin on my account, because when you have directional trend, right? I'm gonna close. Let me close this down and make this a little bigger. When you have pure confirm that we're either going up or we're going down, nothing is gonna stop the trend from moving in that direction. It doesn't matter how much money I will have leveraged or how much money a million people are going to have leveraged. All that's going to matter is the fact is that price action is always going to take over, and price action is going to move no matter what, right? So if we have confirmed that we're going down, we're going down. That's just it. We might have a little bit of a pullback, right? So keep in mind that 15-minute time frame for your stop loss area, but nothing is going to stop the trend from moving in the direction. It doesn't matter how much money you have on the line, you're not going to stop the trend. So if you just wait for higher time frame momentum confirm, it's really going to help you, because what do we have, right? We have consolidation, right? Like, look, we have all this consolidation, right? Like boom, consolidation, 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 right? And then look at the time here. You see how it says 10 o'clock at the bottom of the screen? That's when the new 4-hour candle opens. So the new 4-hour candle opens at 10 o'clock, and then what do we have? We've got another lower high, right? This becomes another 2-1 confirm, right? This is, yes, a higher low, but then look at how this price closed. This price closes significantly lower than this, and the higher time frame was probably telling us that we're going bearish, right? So what do we have? We have another, I'm going to put this as the higher high. We have another 2-1 confirm, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, we're going bearish. And then, of course, look how by 11 o'clock we have the real confirm that we're going down. So just keep in mind where you want to place your stop losses, or pay attention to just waiting for confirm. So once I have pure confirm, I would rather stack up my entries, right, with high leveraging, rather than just stacking up anything and just getting into the market, right? So let's look at what just happened here, right? So we know that the new 4-hour candle opens at 2, okay? The momentum was clear, right? The momentum was, what did we have? We had, of course, like a 1 hour, we had a daily or a 4-hour wick fill here, right? It was small, but we still have a wick fill there, right? What do we have here? We've got daily momentum, right? The daily candle closed far below support. So if you're just going to follow the momentum, just keep it simple, guys, right? Look at the currency meter, see what's going on. The Japanese yen is still stronger than the US dollar. It's probably waiting just to make like a real drop. It's probably just holding out to really get a drop, right? And then what do we have again? We have more structure and momentum. Let me delete this. And let me do a pip count, because if I was getting in right around there, like I'm already pretty close to my destination of my 10 pip count, right? This is just by trading off of the beginning of a new candle, right? So another little thing is, if you're trading around the beginning of like a 4-hour or a daily candle, um, make sure that you understand, like for myself personally, my profits usually come like pretty quickly. So if you're getting in around just the beginning of a candle, keep in mind sometimes we might come down just to launch up. However, usually in the beginning, your profits are gonna come like fairly quickly. So for me, right, understanding that if you're gonna trade at the beginning of a 4-hour candle, know that you potentially might have a pre-push. So you can see this was at 1345, so that's at 145. Now we have a wick fill to go down. We already had clear momentum. We're not breaking it, right? We have a nice rally for like a couple hours, right? This is 15, 15, 15, 15. That's 1 hour. 15, 15, 15, 15. That's 2 hours. So 2.5 hours, we've just been consolidating. So what do we have? We have a nice resistance, right? Whatever. We got a nice support zone, right? So what are we going to do? We're either going to go up or down. But if the higher time frame is telling us that we're going bearish, just trust the process, right? And then look, you can see that we have a little bit of a liquidity wick that pulls up a couple pips, probably like 3 to 4 pips. Let's see. Oh, only 2 pips. Not even 2 pips, right? So you're not experiencing a ton of drawdown, even entering sales right here, or even maybe you stack up more sales in this process, right? But we're higher time frame confirm. The currency meter is telling us that we're going down. Just, trust the process that if you're going to be trading around the start of a 4-hour candle, it's a really good time to trade. Profits usually come pretty quickly. Some days quicker than others, right? Like you can see here, this profit, see how this says 11 at the bottom of the screen? That's the beginning of a 1-hour candle. So if we're trading before like a 1-hour candle opens and we have a 2-1 confirm to go down, well, look what the profit target range was in just the first two 15-minute candles. 10 pips. I'm already done. I'm already looking to be done. If I hit my 10 pip mark, I usually just close all script and I'm done. This is the kind of thing that I'm looking for every day, right? I'm not a really good swing trader. I'm a shitty swing trader. I do not know how to swing good. If I were to just not close my entries, I would probably be the best swing trader in the world because most of my scalp entries go for another 30, 40 pips. But I'm not a good swing trader. I like to get in, I like to get out, and I like to be done for the day. So for those who are asking like how many trades do you take a day, I'm looking for one trade and I'm stacking on one trade. That's it. If I'm stacking 20 orders here and I catch 10 pips, well that's 200 pips in 15 to 30 minutes and I'm done. Why do I need to trade any more that day? I don't. There's no reason to trade any more that day. But to each their own. Everybody has their own trading plans. But what's going to happen is if you're trading on smaller accounts, right? If we're trading on smaller accounts and we catch like 10, 20 pips and it's only like, let's say $3 to $50, that margin that you just gained, that might not make you satisfied. So that's when you have to take away the factor that you're trading for consistency and you're trading for pips, not profits. Because today's $50, tomorrow's $100, then it's $300 the next day, etc. Your account grows, right? So not to be greedy, because if you catch a trade like this, then maybe you're like, oh, well, now it's telling me that it's going bullish, so you enter buys, right? And it's going up, then all of a sudden now you're a negative drawdown. Now you're losing all the pips that you just gained because you're being greedy and you're over trading, right? So for my trading plan, the way I trade, I primarily am looking to take one entry a day, but stacking up. So if we look at like UJ, and we're looking at the 4-hour time frame and we've got like a break of structure, like, okay, here's my confirm that we're going down. So why am I going to worry about taking multiple trades if I can catch one trade like this a day? If I can catch one trade like this a day and I can catch 30 pips per position, for an example, I'm good to go. I don't need to trade anything else because guess what? It's going to come right back up and then tomorrow it's going to leave us off with the exact same thing and I'm going to get in again. That's just how it works. So another good example for you guys is going to be here, right? So we can see we have a major rejection. Let me get rid of these EMAs, right? We've got major rejection, right? We come up, it makes like this, like a lot of people call these like a saggy boob. This becomes like, right, we got the lowest low. This actually becomes like 2-1 confirm on the higher time frame, right? What do we got? We got now a higher low. So there was no direction, or this is after 2 a.m. This is after the 6 o'clock candle. At this point, there is no direction of this can be a lower high and we're going down, but then, okay, well, we have a major rejection and this is a new higher low. So it's either going to go up or down, right? We obviously know that we're either going up or down. So you can either do like one or two things, right? You can place pending orders in the market. You can just look above the highest. Like if I'm going to look here, I might place a pending order like here above this recent wick. And then I might look here and place a pending orders down here, right? Because if we're going to go sells and we hit here, we're going to probably keep going down. If we're going to hit buys and we're going to go here, we're going to keep going up to the next resistance zones, right? Look left, draw them up, right? We just have our next resistance zones because price is not going to stop pushing until it hits the zone. That's where it has to go. It has to go to the next zone. That's how price action works. So a very good example for you guys is going to be that 1 hour time frame, right? If we're looking at that 1 hour time frame, here is the 2, 3, 4, 5. So here's 6. So by 6, what do we have? A nice push up. Well, then you're like, okay, well, this might be buy confirm, and then what ends up happening? You might buy here, you might experience 12 pips drawdown. That's a lot of drawdown to be in, right? Let's look at, if we look at that 15-minute time frame, we may have waited a little bit, but then what does it come? It comes down here by 7, and then what do we have? By 7, we're like, okay, well, maybe it's coming down here. Like, there's not too much clear direction, but then by that 8 o'clock candle, let's see what that 15-minute time frame looked like, because there was no clear direction off the higher time frame, so I'm not looking to trade. If I don't have clear direction, I'm not looking to trade, because then look at all this noise. For 4 hours, we have major like consolidation, right? Let's look at the 15-minute time frame over there, and let's see what we got. Perfect. Okay. So now the 15-minute time frame, you can see, right? We have higher low, right? We have another higher low, right? And then we have, this ends up being 2-1 confirm going bearish, right? So this still could have been a nice scalp opportunity. I think some of my students took this. They sent me the screenshots. You still have, look at, you're already hitting your profit target goal. So even catching a move, you're like, okay, well, this is a 2-1 confirm. I'm still going to take that trade, right? And then you would have taken that trade. However, look what happens just an hour later. We end up having another higher low, another higher low, and then we have the real 2-1 confirm to go bullish. And then if you would have seen, by 8:30 we have pure confirm, so now you can get in if you just wait a little bit, and then you end up waiting for confirm, right? 20 pips or all the way from down here, because what happened was is this failed to break, right? So this is a higher low, but then it goes higher high, higher low, so 2-1, boom, we're going up. Or you can just look at it as it's just, 2-2 to continue going up. But this specific trade is like legitimately what I'm looking for every single day. I'm waiting for either a highest high or a lowest low, and I'm looking for price to kind of break up and to fail to break, and then to show me the direction. So you can see we end up having the pure confirm at that time. Let's look to see what price is doing now. All right, so we're still going down, right? Obviously, higher time frame told us we're going bearish. We're getting closer and closer to our 10 pip range area, right? It's looking like we're just going to keep dropping, right? Let's look at the currency meter. Currency meter, Japanese is still strong. The US dollar is still weak. So it's just trusting that momentum. It's just trusting the momentum that we're going to be going in the direction of the trend, right? Look at, we're still dropping. There we go. This is why it's important to trade around the beginning of like 1 hour candles or the beginning of 4 hour candles. Because if you trade right in the beginning, you can get a really good idea of how that candle is going to start going, right? And you can, as you can see here, we end up we broke structure. We come back to the same zone, because that's what price might do. It might come back to that same zone it just broke, and it'll fail to break. And then what did this become? This became a lower high, right? So now we've got the lower high to continue going bearish. So we have momentum trading. We broke structure, made another lower high. We're gonna keep continuing to go down into the low side, right? That's the power of trading off of the higher time frames, right? We have a break of structure. So what do? Follow the momentum. So we get in right in the beginning, or we look at that 15-minute time frame and say, well, where's the recent like resistance area? It's kind of up here. So this is the highest point that it probably will go if we're going to keep going down. And as you can see in this area, it's moving a little bit slower, but usually profits are going to come within those first few 15-minute candles, and then you're going to be in and out, and you're going to be pretty much done for the day. Because as we know, this is Forex, so price can do anything it wants. It can out of nowhere just like start shooting up for some weird ass reason. Like we don't even know why. Sometimes it just like moves crazy, like at the most opportune and weird times. So if you're scalping, I'm a scalp trader. I'm not looking to hold my positions for too long. As soon as I feel like price might go the opposite direction, I'm looking to probably just close out and be done for the day. Even if I don't hit my actual profit target range or my pip range, even if I don't hit it, profit is profit. If I'm going for 200 pips a day and I only get 120, okay, well, I can survive off of not catching an extra 80 pips, and I can just be very happy with the 120 that I have, right? Let me go look at the questions, see if you guys have more questions, and see if you guys are kind of catching on to how price is moving. Yes, exactly. Didn't break above previous high candles. Yep, thank you. Yep, the market is currently consolidating, though it pushed through the support as well as the newfound support. Exactly. It's just pushing it ended up hitting that new support because, right? Like if we look at that daily, right? Like look at what it's doing now, right? If we look at the daily candle, we can see that we have this whole range that price will, whoops, well that looks really bad. Let me delete everything. It's getting too clustered. And it's hard to see because we got like this little session thing down here. But if we look left and we look at these like wick ranges, we can see this can be a really good potential like quick profit target range. That price, because price, this is what might be happening. Price can be coming down here and then it can get ready to come up before it's ready even to keep going down. Because this was a major like volatility push, right? But just by following the momentum, usually we're just going to keep going down. However, we can be heading into a consolidation more range. But as you can see, we already dropped, what, 8 pips in that time frame? I'm fine with 8 pips. I'm fine with taking home 8 pips for that day per position. I'm perfectly okay with that. Let me see. Can you explain stop loss and spread? Yeah. So depending on what um, brokerage you guys have, different brokerages have different spreads, right? My brokerage, I trade off of an ECN brokerage, and my brokerage primarily has like a 1 pip spread, like every time, sometimes less. So you just got to keep in mind that if we're going to place stop losses, let's say here, for an example, right? Well, what's going to happen is if you have a pip in stop loss, like if you have a pip in spread, price actually is going to hit your stop loss just by coming here. Because my price is coming here, but then the spread gives you an extra factor and it gives you an extra like line above that is like I don't know how to explain this better. Let me mute this chart, right? Okay, so if we see this chart, right, we see this green line that's right here. This is like where you see that green line on the top of this candle. That's where price currently is at, right? But when you put your brokerage in, what's going to happen is that line is going to move either up, right, or stay closer to where price is because that's where your spread is at. So if my spread is 1 pip, this green line is going to be like up here. So as this candle, let's say, goes bullish, that distance is going to keep getting bigger because it's moving up, right? So if we're putting in a stop loss like here, well, price is really going to come here and hit your stop loss. So you might want to put your stop loss a little higher, factoring in that if we're going to hit that stop loss, right, price is going to have to come up to here in order to activate to hit your stop loss. So you want to give yourself that room. You really want to give yourself that room with spread, okay? But my stop loss is primarily because I'm trading at the beginning of a 4-hour candle, 1-hour candle, etc. Right? So I'm looking for that momentum, and then I'm looking to really get in and get out. So in these first few candles, that's something that I'm really looking for my profit target range. That's once I hit that next zone, I'm usually looking to get out or whatever because I don't like to sit in front of the computer all day. I like to see where the momentum is, and I like to get in and I like to get out, right? Even if you're catching 5 pips per position, right? Even if we're just catching like 5 pips per position, for example, if we put 10 entries, that's a lot of pips. You just caught 50 pips in what, 30 minutes? Well, what happens if you are trading on 10.0 standard lots or 50 standard lots, right? That becomes a few $1,000s, 10,000, 20,000, whatever. So this is where your pips come in over your profits. So those of you who are trading on like much smaller accounts, what you're gonna, because this is exactly the same thing I experienced. I wasn't satisfied with how much profits I was because I was focused too much on making money and I wasn't focused on consistency. You want to focus on your consistency. Who cares how much money you're making? It doesn't freaking matter. What matters is your consistency. If you can consistently catch a certain amount of pips per day, you're going to get closer and closer to that profit target range that you're really looking for, right? I can see a doji. Higher time frame always prevails. Higher time frame always wins. Price action doesn't lie. Wicks don't lie. It's 100% true. Is it possible to use swing from longer time frame and trade in the same way? Yeah, absolutely, right? Like if you look at like the weekly time frame and you see how the weekly time frame finished off, then you can definitely get an idea how the beginning of that next time frame is going to go. Loose sound. Loose sound. Can you guys not hear me anymore? I can hear. Okay, cool. Somebody said like loose sound. So and some people were leaving, so I didn't know if everybody was not hearing it anymore. Yeah, liquid. Alex, I'm unsure of the liquidity wicks that you're talking about. If you're still in the chat, bud, but are you using auto loader to do multiple positions? No, Jerry, I'm not. What I'm looking to do is if I'm on MetaTrader 4 and I've got buy or sell, I'm just clicking multiple times. I'm just click, 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 click. That's just how I like doing it. And then I've got a script all the way on the left that'll say close all. And then I'm gonna be activating my close all script when I'm satisfied. No problem with sound. Okay, good. Maybe someone else was having a little bit of problems, but anyways, kind of just moving forward a little bit else. Do you guys have any other further questions? I wanna use the remaining time to be directed towards you guys and towards just answering questions. So let me know what kind of questions you guys have. I appreciate that. You learned a lot. I'm so stoked that you learned a lot. Like, you know, with going through such a bad mentorships before, it sucks when you're not learning something, right? So I like to just throw out like this is what I do, guys. This is what I work on with my students, right? This is what we do. Of course, I don't teach you guys all the same things that I teach them, but I just kind of get you guys understanding because it takes time to learn and practice, right? A beginner's questions, you can put any question you want. Beginners, advanced, it doesn't matter. It's not going to offend me. Um, you may have a question that someone else does, or they haven't got to that yet. So put a question in. So once price breaks market structure and retests the zones, there'll always be liquidity wicks. No, not always. Not always is there a liquidity wick. Sometimes it just drops immediately. So an example would be, let's just look for an example. This is actually a pretty good example because this is not really like a really good liquidity wick. That's very small, but you can see like we broke the structure, so we're going down. So this is not really a good liquidity wick. But sometimes price will go right off of this candle. It'll just drop like here, right? Like we're going down. So what did it do? It just drops. So there's really no liquidity that it wants to get. It's already gained liquidity from all of these, right? Like this huge wick. This ends up being a drop down and then it comes up. That becomes the liquidity and then it goes down in that direction. I was also in the same position, but I'm glad he did this. Perfect. Um, a daily time frame means one daily single candle. Yes, yes. So if I'm on the 4-hour time frame, brother, every single one of these candles is 4 hours, right? So this is 4 hours, this is 4 hours, this is 4 hours. If I'm looking at the daily, every single one of these candles is a day, right? So like this candle goes all the way back to December 1st, right? This is over a month ago or almost a month ago, right? So every time frame you're on, that candle is going to represent how long that candle lasts. What indicator is best for momentum? Breaking structures of zones. That's a good question, Ramon. The best times are like the best indicator for momentum is going to be break of structure, wick fills. Of course, looking at your currency meter. If you look at your currency meter at the beginning of a candle, and it's telling you like one is really weak and one is really strong, just trust the process, right? So the best indicators are going to be the break-up structure, of course, wicks that want to get filled, right? So if we're looking here for an example, so this daily candle closed like this. So just like right now, we just had a new daily candle open. Look what this new daily candle did. We have a wick to fill, and we've got momentum. It's going to the next zone, right? So this is a good momentum indicator. Is we've got a wick to go fill, price is in momentum. We're gonna fill the wick. Are you trading news or do you stay away? I mean, I'll trade. I usually, if I'm gonna trade news, I like to wait till news hits, and then I like to see the structure after news. So I don't really trade news that often, although I could trade news. I actually have a really good strategy trading news. Um, I just haven't done it in a long time, but it's a lot of fun trading that strategy. If price consolidates at New York Open, do you wait till price breaks the consolidation, or you just put pending orders below and above the consolidation? That's a great question. So if price is consolidating at New York Open, then what's going to happen is pay attention to the 4 hour time frame and the 1 hour time frames in between. So if we know that the 4 hour time frame, if we know that there is 1 hour time frames in between, like this whole 4 hour time frame is made up of what? 4 1 hour time frames, right? And then a bunch of 15 minutes and 5 minutes, whatever. But what's to pay attention to is if we don't have clear momentum in that early New York session, chances are on that 1 hour time frame, we're gonna have that clear we're gonna have that clear momentum. So if you want, yes, you can just place pending orders, or you can just check back on those hours and you can see how the hours are finishing off. That's what I do. That's what helps me out a lot. What else? What other questions do we have? What other questions do we have? Got it, bro. Thanks. No, I never use Fibonacci's. Fibonacci's are just retarded. Like, sorry to use the retarded word. I'm kind of retarded sometimes, but it doesn't. It legitimately. I don't even know how to put Fibonacci's on. Like, how do you? I don't even know what the frick to do with that. Is it triangle patterns? Maybe it's triangle patterns, right? Like 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 I don't see. I don't even know how the heck to use it. Like, how did it go down here? Like, what the heck's a Fibonacci? Like, okay, cool. Like, what is this supposed to help me with? Is this supposed to like tell me that price is coming down here? Like, all this is just more noise to confuse me. The only thing that I care about is price breaking structures and 4 hour momentum. That's it. Because when price is in momentum, price is going to keep going in that direction. But see, I don't even know how to freaking work this thing. I don't know what this thing is called. Like, what this is. I don't care. I never have used a Fibonacci ever in my life. Do you have yeah, I do. Someone's asking if I have like a beginner thing. I do. My students are all either all the way from beginners to advanced students. I'm new and just joined this chat via invite, so I hope this is not redundant. Can you walk through step-by-step proceeding process of the strategy? What I'm going to advise you is I record all my webinars, so I will send it to you. You'll get it in an email, and I also upload it on YouTube. It would be kind of tedious going through everything and explaining what I do, but let me just give you like this kind of example. Here's like my YouTube channel. If you go to my YouTube channel, you can see a lot of course, like videos that I've uploaded so far. Trading with my students, maybe some secrets, following momentum forex trading. Pretty much most things that I'm going to be going over in every single one of my webinars is going to be uploaded to YouTube, and it's going to be very repetitive stuff. But as new people come in, I keep the same strategy. Of course, I trade the same way, and I just trade off of momentum. So what I would ask you to do is probably it's going to be best for you to either private message me afterwards, and I can help you out further, or to go and check out either my YouTube videos or to watch this webinar after it's done being recorded, and I will send that to you. Do you use buy stops and sell stops to trade news? Yes, Ramon. That's actually my strategy. Is if I'm trading news, I will place buy stops and sell stops. What chart should we focus on? I see you look at several charts. If you're talking about charts, the main chart that I look at is like TradingView. That's legitimately the this is how I get my market assessment. I just look at TradingView and then I take entries on my MetaTrader 4. So TradingView is going to give you the cleanest signals because TradingView is partners with many well regulated brokerages like Forex.com. Like Forex.com's highest leverage is like 25 to 1, which is like crap. It's nothing. So they're very regulated brokerages. So I like to look at TradingView because TradingView is going to give me the clearest and safest signal. There's not going to be any stop hunts. There's not going to be any manipulation in this, etc. It's for the fancy schmancy traders. Yeah, I know. That's what fibs are. What sort of pips would I be looking for from long time frames, weekly, daily, 4 hour? That's all up to you, Darren. Everything is up to you. My advice is just to understand where the next zone is. So if, of course, we have, like, I'm just going to draw up, right, resistance, right, support, right, and we have a break of structure support. So where are we going? We're going to be looking at that new support. So that's going to give you an idea of a profit target range of where to go. We've already broken support, so we've got another wick to fill here, and we're just going to continue moving into the momentum. So just getting an understanding of where that zone to zone is, right? Like that was 36 pips. So if you're the type of trader that's saying, well, I want to catch 300 pips per entry, well, good luck. Price is going to do whatever it wants. Or you can open up 10 entries at 30 pips and you can catch 300 at the same exact cost. I'm just getting back to a message. I'm just sending some messages out, private messages. Let me look at some other questions. I'm trying to find a suitable mentor. I want to start trading. Perfect. Yeah, you can go through me, or I can recommend other mentors that are really good to go through. I'm pretty transparent, guys. I'm not the type of like mentor that I say, hey, like I'm the best, go through me. I don't really care. You can go through me, or I'm gonna tell you the other mentors that I would recommend you going through. That you're gonna get the best. You're gonna get the best head start to your forex trading careers. All right, I got another big question. Can you go on UJ on 17.1? All right, 117. Let me delete everything. I got a big question. I'm going to go to, and what time frame are we looking at? Broke out. So when price consolidates around resistance, it usually breaks out if there's also momentum, and vice versa with support. Let me go look at that. So this is going to be at 117. So that's going to be the beginning of the month, right? We're gonna look at right here, right? So this is the new 4-hour candle. This is right when the 4-hour candle opens. So go on UJ here, like the price consolidates in New York. Let me highlight this whole area because I took this trade. I actually took sells. I didn't take the buys. I was done on my sells and then I closed my computer. This whole area is actually, if you go in my YouTube and you look at my one-on-one with Hugo, I traded this thing. I didn't trade the push here. I just traded the drop for the new 10 o'clock 4-hour candle when it opened, and I was in and out and I was done for the day. But the price consolidates at New York open at resistance, and only after a few hours it broke out. Exactly. So if you're trading around the 1-hour time frame, you can see that the momentum eventually prevails. So if we look at the 1-hour time frame, right? So eventually, right, this was in that time. Like eventually, this is when the new 4-hour candle even opens. So this was by 11. So in this time, we know that 15-minute time frame did make like a higher low to go bullish. But look at what happened after this. So from 12 to 1, even entering off of this push, you still have 13 pips in 1 hour. And then look what ends up going up. So after waiting for momentum, you can definitely see that we have the clear momentum because this is a huge consolidation box. So if you're worried about, like, you don't know which direction price is going to go, all you got to do is look below, like the recent support and resistances, right? And place your buy stops or sell stops if you wish, right? So buy stops like above the recent resistances or even here, but I would say go around here. And then looking pretty low, look left, you can see even here, you could put a sell stops even down here. But when you have such rejection, like these are things that I overlooked, I didn't even pay attention to that, was look at the rejection, and then now we have another higher low, right? So lower low, higher high, higher low, 2-1 confirm, higher time frame momentum, we're going up. So I didn't look to take buys. I took my sells in this whole beginning, and then I was done for the day. So it's definitely possible off the 1 hour time frame or even 4 hour that you can just look at like a consolidation box and you can place buy stops and sell stops because it's either going up or down. And if it's going down, it's going to break. If it's going up, it's going to break, right? Because look how much it breaks if you put buy stops. 51.5 pips. And that's just by staying safe. You're welcome. 1 hour and 4 hour. Yes. Yes. Look, also like a bullish flag. Yep. I don't really know what like these bullish flags, these bearish flags, like I really don't pay attention to all those things. I don't even know how to read those. Just being like very honest with you guys. I trade off support and resistance and momentum. All I care about is what the candles before me did and what it left me to go fill or to keep pushing in the direction. So I'm going to answer a couple more questions for you guys. I want to answer just a few more questions, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close down, and I'm going to upload this online, and I'll be sending this recording to your guys' emails. So if you guys want to get in there and you can take a look. For those of you who were looking to reach out to me, just find me on my Instagram if you want to reach out to me. If you don't already know, my Instagram is at the Wolf of Forex. My YouTube is at my name, just Kyle Beret. Right? My Facebook, if you guys want to add me on Facebook, you're more than welcome to. My Facebook is the same, Kyle Beret. Right? You guys can reach out to me on any of these platforms. If you want to reach out to me on my email, that's cool too. This is a more personal one that I use. It goes directly to my cell phone on my iCloud. My Wolfswagen at iCloud.com. That's another way you guys can reach out to me. I mean, that's pretty much the main sources that I look for. So if you guys want to go ahead, just send me a private message. I'm available for you guys. Just go ahead and reach out. Logo boy, yeah, get me on that freaking wolf logo, dude. I'm about to put it on my Instagram. It'll be sick. Yes, I don't like fancy patterns. I just like momentum trading. That's it. I'm going to post this to everybody so that you guys can get an idea. I got you on Twitter. Oh, you know what? I don't even use Twitter, but I'm going to start using Twitter. Loud and clear reading charts. Absolutely. Champ. I like it. So I'm not getting a whole lot of other questions, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and close down. We've had a really good webinar. You guys answered the polls in the beginning really well. It helped me. Thanks for joining, guys. I really appreciate it. I do this weekly. So the next webinar is either going to be on Friday. I might do 2 this week to kind of conclude what the week did, or I'm probably going to be looking to early next week. My schedule has been really busy. So I've been doing like webinars a little later in the past 2 weeks. So anyways, thank you so much for joining, guys. Check your emails. I'm going to be sending this to your guys' emails as well as on my YouTube. Just look at my name, Kyle Beret, and you guys are going to be able to check it out. So, all right, I'm closing down shop. Thanks for coming, guys.